So you've been into hotels on and off. So there was one change.
More on than off.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So how was your journey?
I think I'm intrinsically a born hotelier.
So how are you building the DNAs for Postcard Hotel?
If you have a professional CEO running, one CEO will say, Mera ye vision hai. The second will come and say, okay, after whatever. But if you have one founder, the agenda for luxury will remain consistent, right?
Do you fix a number of age that till this age one should work?
I think जब तक तुमको मजा आ रहा है करो, नहीं मजा आ रहा है छोड़ दो यार. It's okay.
Do you now want to try more of things?
Want to try new things till the end of till my dying days.
One last question I want to ask. What is in to take risk?
I may not be a perfectionist with everything, but I like to try my hand with a lot of things and stuff.
Do you feel that your risk has paid off?
Let me say, I have no regrets in what I have done at all. Paid off well.
What were the consequences that I am leaving an industry where I've given, some amount of time, I can grow here?
डर नहीं लगता था. I never felt scared. If you truly feel कि मेरे को कुछ सीखना है and I want to sort of walk the hard road to learn because, then निकलो, otherwise क्या है, अच्छी मेरे से नौकरी है यार. That was very clear. मुझे entrepreneur नहीं बनना boss. It is a very lonely journey.
So in today's episode of Connecting Dot, we are with Richa Khurana Singh, and she has started her journey with Taj Hotel as trainee. And today, she is the director for Postcard Hotels. And we are here to discuss her career, growth, and about Postcard Hotels. Let's start. So, how are you, ma'am?
I'm doing good, thank you, and thank you for having me over.
My pleasure. So, मैं बहुत पहले से Postcard Hotels को follow कर रहा था. I want to understand why Postcard Hotel is in existence. क्या ज़रूरत थी?
There are interesting statistics. So, and that's something that, because I do hotel development, which is sign up of new hotels. So, bada interesting statistics hai when Mr. Chopra, who's the founder of the Postcard Hotels, when he was at the helm of affairs as president of Oberoi Hotels, we had a ringside view of what was happening in the luxury space. So, from 2011 till 14-15, for instance, Oberoi Uday Vilas had about 8% Indians and 92% foreigners. Yeah? But things started changing, towards 16, 17, 15, 16, 17, 52% Indians and 48% foreigners. So you knew the aspirational India was growing and it had the money and it was looking for luxury. Yeah. So we knew the time was right for luxury, that Indians were seeking, and not the usual luxury that we know as we know. And they're beautiful hotels. We're all alumni of Oberoi Hotels, but we wanted to do something different, and that's really the genesis of how Postcard came into being. To say that we need to cater, we're a brand by the Indians and for the Indians. 1.4 billion population. You look at 1% of that you want to cater to. You look at the numbers still that you're looking at and the kind of consumption that Indians have towards luxury. It's a changed world today.
And how was your journey throughout for this 28 years? So you've been into hotels on and off. So there was one change.
More on than off.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So how was your journey? What 28 years have given to you? I'm talking about hospitality as an industry.
Yeah. So, I think I'm intrinsically a born hotelier. I'm an economics graduate from Delhi University. And frankly, at the time where everybody wanted to do, in our generation, the natural progression after BCom honors or economics honors was really MBA now, And my thing is, I just didn't want to study anymore and I had no clue ki karna kya hai. And then we had, campus placements by the Taj. And I got through and I said, oh, this is really glamorous. I should join that. But the funny part was that when I actually got through as a graduate management trainee, and they would, this was a counter to OCLD program that Taj was coming up with, and we were the second batch to be recruited. So the first day that I walk into Taj, you walk in from the lobby and you say, oh, this is my life, this is love. Yeah. You come from a middle class background, you think, this is my life, this is so gorgeous, I love it. Then they took us to this restaurant called the Longchamp, on the rooftop, and they made us wine, dine, everything. So, this is life, this is great, I love it. This is Next day, they took us to the south entrance. And there's a garbage chute next to us. Say, where is this? What is this? So, suddenly it struck me to say, oh my God, that is for the guest. And this is, the back of this thing. But of course, so it was a 2-year program followed by 3 more years at the Taj. And I think I learned and loved so much. But I often complained saying that I'm not learning enough. The funny part is that what was sort of a defining moment for me to know that I must get out, because I think I'm sort of sinking into abyss of non-intellect, because, you were continuously at work, you're not reading papers, you had no time for news. All you did was check in, check out, this, that, whatever, as jury manager at that point in time. I remember, one of the conversations with one of the guests, and, we were talking, say, oh, sir, how was your flight? And the gentleman would say, very good. And that's the response you expect.
Yeah.
So, and then we'd say, oh, good, we've got you, whatever. They just got the guest. One of the guests says, oh, terrible. Now, suddenly I'm like, oh, now what comes is
out of cinema.
like, ouch, I didn't learn this. So I said, oh shit, I should have known a little more about the guest and everything. Uske baad, I remember one of another, you remember insurance companies when they were coming, the CGU, Aviva, and so there was a TVS alliance of an insurance company.
TVS Sundaram.
That's right. Yeah. And I'm thinking, and escorting saying, ye bike hogi. And I suddenly come back and say, I've really lost the plot pause. I mean, I'm not reading, I don't have time. I've got to get out of it and do something more. So that's when I got out and said, let me just sort of, exert my grey matter a little bit, learn a little more. Because frankly, if you were to leave to me, life was good.
Yeah.
I mean, a hotel's life is great. So I got out and then suddenly was thrown into this. I mean, I joined Weber Shandwick at that point in time. And they were, so one of my clients was CGU Aviva. I mean, CGU Dabur at that point in time. They had a JV at that point in time. You had to read 20 papers. You just, that's what PR is all about. You had to sort of liaise and everything. And I loved the fact that I was reading so much. But I also,
Action was missing.
But suddenly I was like, oh, I really don't know this and that. And they were very intelligent people at that point in time. Even now with PR and everything. I loved it. But, there was a gentleman called Mr. Rohit Khosla, if you've heard of him. He's a very senior gentleman at the Taj now. When I was leaving and he was my EM at front office, he said, Richa, what you'll miss? I said, what, sir? He said, tu na cafeteria ka khana miss karegi. I said, pata nahi kya bol rahe, sir? But actually when I went out, that's really, those are the things saying, I loved it. I really missed the bond homie, the large format, the glamorous, this thing. And suddenly I didn't know that you had to carry your tiffin to work. That was never acceptable.
This was not the point of
life. Yeah, I'm like, and it was so, we were really young, so you think ki, ye to theek nahi hai, I have to go back to the industry. Then I said, one more stint. Let me just try one more stint outside the industry. So I joined ITS. It was a hotel software, Prologic, you would have heard.
Yeah.
Worked with them for a while, but again, same thing. I loved, even though you could say it's such a fake life, I loved the glamour of the hotel. You walk in and everything's clean, spick, span. Loved the uniform too. But this time I said I will not join operations because I just didn't enjoy it. It's just too. And I wanted to join sales and marketing, and I got an opportunity with that time Bass Hotels. So yeah, I did sales and marketing, and then there was some internal restructuring, and then Oberoi absorbed me. Yeah. Ever since that, I loved sales and marketing. I mean, I thought this was it. And then moved to Pune too. I was looking after something. But, moving from an Oberoi Delhi format to a regional office.
Yes.
Now, suddenly with the whole music, I was in a business center. The whole music used to be like the radio mirchi. And I'm like, ye kya hai, boss? I mean, So then I stepped out and I joined WNS. That was a, BPO at that point in time. What was interesting is that there was a lot of attrition that used to happen in BPO. So people would woo you to sort of try to make you stay. They'd have Zumba classes. They'd have great food. They'd have cafeteria. And I was like, oh, this is brilliant. And then, of course, Oberoi called me back and I joined Pune. And then the children happened. So I took a little break. But again, by now I was very clear I don't want to be out of the industry. So then I worked with Oberoi again for about 2 years. And then I said, I want to do something more because, okay, so you've done the operations, you've done the sales, and you're like, what is
next?
What is next with hotels? So I joined a startup, in Delhi called the Treehouse Hotels. That's where I learned the business of hotels. That's where we grew the hotel company from 2 to 19 hotels, and that was my mandate. So the first time I joined, it's a very interesting anecdote. And the website wasn't working. In Oberoi, if the website crashes, you're like, oh my God. So the world had collapsed. So, oh my God, this gentleman saying, look, you're not in business of saving life. Relax.
Yes.
Sorry, everything would be fine. But I'm like, but you know how? And I didn't even know website is hosted somewhere at that point in time. That's how sort of not literate you are with the back of the house thing. You just did your thing. With big brands, the great part is you do your thing.
Yeah.
And you don't know what everything
The
else.
process works.
Process works, right? And with a smaller brand, you learn everything. So 6-7 years with them, and really that's where I managed the P&L, balance sheet, grew the company, grew with the company. There were 4-5 of us who were sort of leading team at that point in time. And then I moved to Bangalore, and I just said I want to take a break. My children were of an age where we were moving to a new city, and I genuinely wanted to take a downtime. So I did that, and then I was done. I mean, my children were done. They're saying, "Ho gaya na, abhi 1 year is done. Why are you not going back?" I'm like, "What's with you guys? I just want to relax for a little while and stuff." And they said, "No, you're done. Go back to work." And then COVID happened, and then so I took a little breather, but I was very edgy. I just like working. And then I had an assignment with Hitter Beverages, which is paperboard. They wanted to launch a new. So I said, chalo, ye bhi try karte hain. Because FMCG is another world, right? It's like big data. I've got to know numbers and...
Stats is important.
I mean, and the funny part is, and before we started the podcast sharing with your team, that I would dress in a certain way, the way hoteliers dress, and everybody would say, "Madam, aapka birthday hai kya?" And I would say, "Huh." He said, "But I dress okay aayo." Because everybody was so casual and cool and everything. So I had to really make efforts to sort of fit in, to sort of do that, which was another experience. But, even at that point in time, knowing another world, which is like going to shopkeepers and understanding their psyche. How is it that one rib of that bottle not fitting in on that freezer cooler can affect the sale?
Yes.
It was brilliant. I mean, I wouldn't trade it. So 6 months I continued, and then Postcard happened. And, that's, well, my story in short.
One thing that you told me that I have said this openly, and I'm saying it again. In hotel, we don't teach people intellect. So they are not someone who's with big brains. And this is very open because now I am running a business and I understand this. Like you said, fit in hona bada mushkil hai because meko bahut saal tak I used to wear this leather shoes to go to office, the coat, the tie, and all of those stuff. Now I'm running a company with most of the audience in my office is less than 27 years of age.
Yeah.
And they dress in a way that you can't come up and say the hoteliers dress in this way. And then I have to understood this from them that it is about work, it is not about the industry. And now I myself am seeing that industry is changing. A lot of podcasts that I've done, they have related, one of my podcasts, someone has rated this with defense. They said, once you are in army, when you go back home, you cannot stay. You have to come back to your battlefield. And same goes with hotelier. Like you were not able to stay back. You came back. And same goes with me. I was working and then came back, started business. But this business is in the hospitality.
Yeah.
I could have started something else.
Yeah.
But everything, once you are hotelier, you are always a hotelier for the life. But it's a sad part is that we don't get time to enhance our intellectual level. Whereas in operation, everyone is in Basar, this word I learned in hospitality.
Yeah, in sales you do CP, MAP, MP and all that. You know part of it.
And there is this thing which should change because the generation which is coming in, they are exposed to knowledge and information from the day that they're born. And what we are doing is that we are not changing the syllabus curriculum for them. And I feel that this entire thing has to change now because either we will end up giving the entire hospitality as industry to outsiders likes of Marriott and Hyatt, because I appreciate the brands arising within India. So likes of Postcard Hotels, Sarovar, Fun, all of these brands, these are Indian made brands. And I love this because they are growing. But sadly the part is up housekeeping, front office, F&B, production and service, ye seekhte ho, and this is all physical in nature. Have you realized this within this industry that if you continue working for a very long time, your IQ level will be the same or either it will go down?
Yeah. I felt that. And, I do feel we are archaic in a lot of ways. We've really not changed the way that we think or do business, which is why the new age companies which are coming in, and I would say that for our company, I would say that for even the likes of Tribos or what Ritesh did with Oyo, I think it was brilliant. because they're thinking differently. Okay, did they sustain or not is another separate story altogether. But you were thinking differently. You were thinking of business of hotels.
Yes.
You were not thinking about suit, bow tie, this, that. I love it. I mean, I love every part of the fact that you have to be well-dressed and well-spoken and all of it, because there is a certain charm to it and we're still old world. But I really feel that we need to upgrade. As an industry, I think we need to upgrade. Anybody who's got a career which has not been straight-jacketed. I joined as a DM, then front office manager, then I'm a GM. But anybody like me would say, I've did this and did this and did this and did this. But, you know, they would still not understand that there's a lot of value that people would bring in with myriad experience. You know, so I think that's one thing we really need to wake up to say, even maybe if you get an outsider, you know, from an industry, maybe you get a different perspective. But बहुत मुश्किल है in our industry to sort of, you know, another interesting part. And, you know, this is one of the things that I noticed, that if you go to a forum, the hoteliers forum, you'll only see dark suits and ties and very few women still, you know. So, and I've always questioned to say that it's a very, in the way that the industry is a very she industry, right? It's a very nurturing kind of industry. And yet at the highest level, there are very few women who are really there who will lend. So diversity, inclusion, companies are waking up to it, but not, you know, it's just too slow right now compared to, you know, what. And, you know, and I'll tell you why. There's, for the mid-segment brand, because I understand the P&L right now, in India, you just never made enough money to do anything different to be able to take up your costs very much. No, if you were to hire a woman, then you've got to give them maternity pay. So nobody said, yeah, boss, I'm already not earning enough.
Yeah.
How am I going to sort of take on another burden of specially abled or gender inclusivity at hotels which are coming in on a mid-segment level? So I'm glad that, you know, the larger hotel brands are looking at that right now and saying, let's have more inclusivity, gender diversity, etc., etc. But that's also an area I feel that we really, I think, need to do much more. There's very little done there too.
Yeah, I think I always blame this to us, but there's a part that government also plays in. So I have this office in Oman. So there is a rule that if you are an outsider setting up a company in Oman, you need to have after 10 employee, one Omani employee, and you need to pay minimum of this wages. And that's the same rule in Dubai. But here, for female, for anyone, the larger organization, it is there a rule. But for the smaller, there is no.
They don't make so much money. And if you do like things like management contracts, you don't make so much money. But I mean, I'll tell you, currently in my organization, out of 6 people who are at the leadership, 50% are women who are sort of there. So in that sense, you will have, you know, people who would say yes, but far and few in between. That's the thing, because when I look at it from more business point of view, I get it. But I do feel that you're right. Maybe some support, maybe a little more sort of push yourself a little more, sort of make it happen. I think, I mean, that's one thing that ails us too.
So you were with big brand where the process was working, and then you have tried your hand to a lot of different things, and which is good. I really appreciate it because you have knowledge of different domain at different level. So what is different when it comes to working with a brand? If someone has to choose a startup, what should be the ideology of someone if you are going through a smaller brand or a startup coming from a bigger brand?
See, one, there has to be a huge hunger to learn when you're in a startup. And that cannot be dictated by Saturdays and Sundays or 10 o'clock at night. No questions. I mean, you got to learn. The other thing is that, you know, even brands who are sort of startups, for instance, it's not that, you know, people will know, you know, sometimes when they say founders, you jump and you discover your wings on the way down. It's like that.
It's never a set plan. You improvise throughout.
Yeah. And that's the thing. That's the excitement for those who like it. But that is also a peril for those who don't like it. Because some people like the structure, right? They're very happy saying, Mera 9 to 6 hai, Saturday off hai, I want 21 days PL, etc., etc. It depends on what kind of energy levels you're coming in, really. That's when you choose to say whether I want to be in a startup or I want to be in a structured brand. Structured brands are great too. But it's just that you will only do and learn so much. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. You know, I've loved every brand that I've worked with. It's an easier life with the structured brand. That's just it. But it is also a duller life with a structured brand. It's exciting, but it's exhausting with the startup.
I think it is more of a social status than your own gratification, because if you are not learning, if you are not taking challenges, if you are with Taj or Oprah, everything is set. You know what you do, what you have to come to office and do for the day. But if you are in startup, I think you don't know what is going to come in.
Everything. मतलब एक दिन printer खराब हो गया तो printer भी ठीक कर.
Yeah, आप ही को करना है.
Yeah, but the thing is that it gives you that they say kursi ki kursi ki auqat ya cart ki auqat.
Yeah.
You just walk into a CEO and we say I'm even a director of sales for like a larger brand. They'll sort of want to welcome you, but truly I think people who work with smaller brands understand it's really what they have learned and how valuable they are to the person they're selling to. I can't simply say, oh, but sir, I'm with this brand and come and stay, come have lunch with me, etc. No, but what is your value proposition? And that's what a startup really teaches you. To say yours, and more importantly, they've got to like you as a person. Yeah. It doesn't matter whether your brand is. Yeah. They like you as a person, they will meet you. And that's what a startup teaches you, that it's all right, card or no card. If you can be liked, you struck a deal. But in a bada brand, क्या है? मतलब वो आप नहीं हो तो कल को आपको जो replace करेगा, I meet that person. So that, for me, when I left Oberoi Hotel, was a big challenge. I mean, I was like, oh my God, I really have to sort of, really make my way through. It wasn't easy. I mean, it wasn't easy. But then I also loved it, saying, oh, now I know, now that whoever meets me will meet me because it's me.
Because it's you, yeah. It's not because of the Oberoi.
Yeah. So I think that's interesting.
So one is that sales that you have done throughout, and then you are doing development now. I really want to understand what is the difference in development and in sales.
Okay, so intrinsically, whether you're in operations, sales or development, all of us are selling ourselves to something or whatever. Intrinsically, we're all sellers. In development, what is important is that besides it, the transaction is far longer. It's not that today you met me, you like me, you're asking somebody to invest a lot of money in building a hotel. There's got to be sound reasons, feasibility, thought through, understanding of more finance to say, how will I address this gentleman's problem? His problem is not about, I've spent 25, 30,000 bucks for a, room night, etc. It's about saying crores of rupees have to be invested. So how am I? Yeah. So you've got to really think through. So the life cycle is far bigger in development. And there's a lot of thinking through, a lot of finance is what you need to. I truly believe that, in development also, you will start having, and now also with bigger brands, you don't necessarily need to have hoteliers. Of course, it helps to be a hotel background, but if you understand finance well, is where it really sort of works well for you, because then you know your numbers, you're able to, you know what the owner is expecting, etc. These are all very sharp businessmen who want to build hotels, So that is a difference. In pure sales, you deal with, if you're a mid-segment level, you deal with admin. At where we are, you deal with the ultimate users. It's a transaction, you've paid, the operation streams is delivered, etc., and then your brand pull is there, no? Also with development, but eventually it's a smaller transaction. मैं इतना सोचूंगा नहीं, Okay, I can spend here, I can spend there.
What was may go wrong for a development, it's a crores of rupees.
Yeah. So be very, very thorough with it. So a lot more thinking is required there.
How many more hotels are coming up?
As I speak, we're actually looking at South Asia. I was in Myanmar about 10 days back, actively looking at that. And many more locations. So the interesting part is that we've, while, you've got other brands which have gone to countries, but a true Aman or a Sixth Sense or one and only has never emerged out of India.
I think less of people know about these two brands. So I've spoken to a lot of people. Less of people know about Aman.
Yeah. So, one of our questions in the presentations that I do, it's very interesting. I ask the owners, what do you think are 3 luxury hotel brands which have changed the way the world thinks? So it's, other than Aman, nobody's really come to one and only or Six Senses. But because they're very under the radar, they're very subtle, but, they've really redefined the way the world holidays. And we are very inspired by those brands, and I think they're brilliant. We will not make noise to say, 200 rooms signed everywhere, whatever. But we'll just keep doing what...
Postcard is a smaller hotels, less of inventories, and bigger. It's a land area is bigger.
Yes. So light, height, space. These are very 3 important, very important things. But the interesting part is everybody says, अच्छा but you're a boutique hotel.
Yeah.
I say वो करोल बाग में दिल्ली में भी जो बोलता है ना वो भी boutique hotel बोलता है. Because हमारे इंडिया में boutique बहुत abused term है.
Yeah.
So boutique for us is not the fact that you are small in numbers.
Yeah.
It is about the level of service that you give.
Correct.
We're building a 52-room hotel in Tirupati. 52 rooms. I mean, I run a 6-room, 5-room, 20-room hotel in Goa. Tirupati has 52-room hotel, and I would call it boutique because of the level of service. I mean, you would know the hotel manager at Postcard, even if it's a 3 a.m. check-in, will be up to receive the guest.
Yeah.
So that is really what it is.
And do you find space to exist? So, like you said, so there's a competition, like current competition, you look at Aman and then you look at Six Senses. For me, Aman is that if I have to die tomorrow, you ask me one place you want to...
You are Dynaman.
I want to go and see Aman Zoe.
Okay.
So, it's in Greece. So, that's the definition of Aman for me.
Yeah.
They have made hotels not as an hotel. It is all different level. I don't know what to call it, but...
It's design.
It's very thoughtful. So, do you think there's still a space for anything to come up closer to Aman to exist?
It's got to come and stay with us.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm not just saying it because I am working for Postcard. I mean, when I actually joined in, I was told to go and see, and I was like, how different could it be? And I've stayed at the Oberoi, I've stayed at the Ritz and everything. But genuinely, when I stayed in one of the hotels, I delayed my meeting by 2 hours because I said, I want to just absorb this place. I mean, one of our hotels in Goa, I said, no, I mean, I just want to be. So you've got to really go and try it because here's an Indian brand which is doing what it is doing right now. So it's very different level of service. And of course, all thanks to our alma mater, we have a lot of, most of us are from the Oberoi hotels, including you, of course. But I'm just saying that in the company too, about 80% of the team is ex-Oberoi. So there's a lot of pedigree which comes from there. We've learned hugely from that. But then you redefine, you use that and you redefine.
So what is different in Postcard Hotels, whereas considering service and also the guest satisfaction? What is different that you guys are doing?
So let me give a small example. So we had a guest who was staying with us. He started coughing, in the coffee shop.
Okay.
So the waiter quickly went, gave a sanitizer, gave a
water. Yeah.
The night before sleeping, a kara was made for the guest and given to him saying, I hope you feel better soon. And that's the kind of anticipatory service that you actually, and that's just one of the small examples that you do. So a lot of celebrities and Bollywood stars today love us for the fact that one, of course, it accords in the privacy, but also in terms of the what is next that the guest could want, and then you've heard that Ritz-Carlton philosophy, just keep anticipating what the guest would want.
Yeah, I remember Salman stayed at your property, Salman Khan, I think.
No, Karan Johar, Varun Dhawan.
One of the celebrity I've seen, it's been a very long time. It's like
plenty of them actually too. It's sort of.
So how is this gonna be if you span the number of rooms and number of hotel? So this is a smaller hotel, very personalized service. But if you expand, you go to places, go to countries, then you have to sort of make SOP. I was doing Tree of Life podcast and Himmat Anand said that if I'm alive, Prashant, I will never let this brand grow. And if it is growing, I'm not going to be part of it because then you have to sort of get into SOPs and that is not a personalized service.
So in the way that in the way the brand is scaling up right now, there's a second level being created.
Okay.
So to give you a little example, there is a meeting with the founder practically every day at night at 10 a.m. where all the resort managers are there.
Okay.
To sort of instill into them, how did Oberoi, I'm not saying I love Tree of Life, but Oberoi Hotel is also what it is.
Yeah.
And it's scaled up, keeping that essence of service alive.
But I still feel Oberoi has not scaled up at that level. Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah,
I really what you're saying.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, as a development person, 99% of the leads are out. We don't even look at it, saying, no, this can't work. Because you need the right kind of, product, or we build green fields. The other is you need the owner who has the vision to understand kar kya rahe. A lot of it don't have it. Every time I look at a development lead, I always tell the owners, you come and stay with us. Some of them come and they love it. But there's been one or two instances, hame samajh mein nahi aa raha, na play area, na gym hai, na TV hai. What is this? We said, okay, then
you are not.
Yes, you are not. And very respectfully, because every brand, I think, is brilliant in what you do. It's just what we are doing is what we are doing, which is true to our space. and that's it.
I think hospitality in India and abroad, people have disposable income. थोड़े दिनों बाद सबके पास पैसे हुए.
हाँ, पर आप फिर भी, I mean, you're right. Like at postcard 50,000 कमरे तो नहीं करेंगे, because you'll never be able to sort of keep it. We'll always be very niche. But yes, you will grow, and you will grow organically, and you will. I mean, I really don't go soliciting, किसी owner से मैं जाके बात नहीं करती. I keep sort of getting people who love the brand, and they say we want a postcard. People who love postcard want it. दूसरों को नहीं समझ में.
How you guys are reaching on marketing and branding level? Because I still feel this brand is low key right now, because like of Aman and Six Sense, there is no much of bloom and jazz and a lot of noise made out for the marketing branding, and same goes with Postcard Hotel. How you guys are making it up in terms of creating a brand and a marketing strategy around?
Okay, so I was to ask you a question. If today you were to travel Delhi, Mumbai, and all things being equal, which airlines would you prefer?
Probably Vistara.
And which, if you had everything else being equal, what credit card do you have or aspire to have?
I aspire to have Amex, but I will be okay with Citi or Axis Bank.
Okay. So that's how we market. Vistara, all the banks, all the credit card companies, top tier customers. That I can't have 200 salespeople. No? I mean, how can you have that? So you have to think very differently to say, how do we sort of get to these clients? So Vistara did a campaign for us which said book on Postcard website and get 5,000 CD points.
So आप वहाँ पहुँच जाते हो जहाँ पे आपके लिए niche customer.
हाँ, तो वही सोचना पड़ेगा ना, आप कितने लोग डालोगे sales के ना, मतलब that is the thing. You can't have इतने सारे लोग तो.
I remember this strategy from Rolls-Royce. They don't go on billboards, they go on magazines or any place. They go on the fair where jets are sold. So that's the place where you can sell.
So DLF Emporio pop-up festival at DLF Emporio, that's, and Diwali ke time pe where everybody comes with, in Delhi, oodles of cash, and that's your target client, right?
How are you thinking right now in terms of this second generation for the Postcard Hotel will be? So right now, currently there is a founder whose vision has been translated to everyone currently. But to run a company, I always look at, if you are running a company, it should be after 100 years. At least think about that this company can run for 100 years. And if the founder is not there, because technically you can't be living for more than 100 years, how your company will shape up. Like look the likes of Microsoft, Apple, and a lot of other companies. Yeah, they are still
Oberoi hung up his boots last year at 93.
Yeah.
But the company's got the DNA of what it's got.
Yeah. So how are you building the DNAs for Postcard Hotel?
So that's what I'm saying. The second rung is being groomed right now as we speak, and that has to be very close association with the founder. Lakshmi is always a founder-led agenda. If you have a professional CEO running, one CEO will say, "Mera ye vision hai." The second will come and say, "Okay, after whatever," then he will come and say, "Mera ye vision hai." The third will change. But if you have one founder, the agenda for Lakshmi will remain consistent, right? Because the agenda is always the founder. You cannot have luxury and have different CEOs sort of changing the agenda and stuff. And so that is a thing. So Mr. Oberoi stayed at the helm of affairs till where he stayed. By then, the company's second line was groomed enough to know that this vision will be carried forward. So that is more it.
So for you, I think, do you now want to try more of things? Because now is the age and time you already given.
Want to try new things till the end of till my dying days. Love to try.
So Postcard is a stop and it's not the end.
No, I don't know. Did I think I'll move to Bangalore? No. Did I think I'll work with a FMCG company? No. Did I think, who knows where life takes.
What drives you for taking these risks? And I want to understand, and also if you can deliver a message to everyone, what is in to take risk?
What is it to take risk? Okay, for one, okay, I'll tell you what works for me. And I think what works for me is that I love to learn new things. I'm very bored with, the moment I've learned it, I'm like, okay, what next? I need to learn more. I may not be a perfectionist with everything, but I like to try my hand with a lot of things and stuff. I want to take a choice where I say that I will compromise this for this. So you stay in straight-jacketed roles and stay there. You'll grow, you will earn money, you will become CEOs, etc., etc. And your salary could be whatever it is. But and maybe it's great for them in what they do. But in taking chances, what I've really enjoyed is that today I understand a lot many more things than just my industry, and to say, how can I connect the dots with this, you know? So that's been the...
So do you feel that your risk has paid off to you very well?
Let me say, I have no regrets in what I have done at all. Paid off well, absolutely. I mean, you would have asked me this maybe like 5 years back, I was still saying, oh, I'm not sure. Maybe I should have stayed on and whatever. But today, I think I won't trade. I won't trade a minute of my life for whatever I've done. And I think my maximum learning and growth happened with Treehouse Hotels, where I was really operating, at a very macro level, understanding all of it. And it was a company which wasn't like really sort of well known. It was a startup, right? And nobody really knew. But that's where I learned the most. And I wouldn't trade that, because I didn't carry that card at that point where everybody would say, how, please, welcome. So there was a trade-off at that point in time saying, boss, I came from the Oberoi Hotels as just and then but here I had to wriggle my way in. But that company taught me what I know today, and Postcard enhances it.
Yeah, I think one thing, because this is something that I've been looking for as an answer, and I have lived the life the way that you have. So I come from non-hospitality background to becoming a CRO, starting a company within this domain. Everything was driven through risk. And for me, whenever you take a risk, I think there is something as an inner voice that holds you for being at a comfortable place where you are. And once you take a risk, then you have to make sure that you
live with the consequences.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, Prashant, क्या difference है? And here, I think I was always the jam earner. No, I mean, it was easy for me to take those risks. Na? I mean, if I had a family to feed and 2 children and, a house to run, which most of us do, na? Maybe बोलती यार ठीक है, I'm getting अच्छी salary, that's just... So I think I speak to my husband often now, and, and I tell him, I said, because he was the stable one in the way of, he towed the line and everything, it was easy for me to do what I did. And I think there's a message in here too, saying that, you're not like in a partnership of, when you're married, or if you're, if you have a partner. If both people complement each other, you can work on your strengths. And I think that's really what's worked for me.
I just want to understand. So, पहला जब आया था कि ठीक है, let's leave the hotel and go somewhere else.
हाँ.
What was the thought? यार ये
पैसे ज़्यादा चाहिए और मुझे night shift नहीं करनी.
So you were very focused.
हाँ, मुझे night shift नहीं करनी थी. I was like miserable because in earlier days in hotels, 3 दिन मतलब you could just be in hotels.
What were the consequences that I am leaving an industry where I've given, some amount of time, I can grow here?
डर नहीं लगता था. I never felt scared. I gave up अभी भी तो. मतलब I never went back to my industry and I said, चलो ये भी try कर लेते हैं. I just, for me, fortunately for me, I some way or the other things just worked out. I was never scared of taking the leap to say, but let's try. Let's see what it is. So I always knew कि यहाँ पे तो आ ही जाएंगे. मतलब कभी ना कभी. Although when I went there, I never thought I'd want to come back. But, and WNS, honestly, if I would have loved to stay on. Yeah. It was just that it happened that I was called back to say, let's just, and they hadn't filled the vacancy in Pune. So I went back saying, I mean, I know this, I understand this. I wouldn't have gone back. I would have stayed on. No problem.
I'm still trying to understand the science behind of taking a risk. Like you said that you were someone, then your partner was there, stood there for you. When I started doing it, there was no one. I'm the sole member to earn my...
She don't have bachas, na?
Nothing.
But
I had the mother, sister, brother to take care of. I was 21, my father left. So, and that point of time, I said, either I go out and do best for my ability, or I should continue where someone will tell me what your ability is. So if I continue work, so this happens a lot in hospitality. If you're working, it has been treated and feeded in your head that abhi executive ho, assistant manager बनने तक 3 साल.
And पहले होता था यार.
हाँ पहले होता था.
हाँ.
GM बनने के लिए you need to be 40. True. And मैं कहा यार मैं 40 साल तक तो wait नहीं कर सकता. And GM बनने के बाद what's your salary? 3 lakh, 4 lakh rupees. मैं कहा no, I want it early. And I remember this. I gave an interview on a revenue manager level in Taj. And I was interviewed by someone, I will not take the name. And I was 7-8 months old in Redison, and I gave all the answers, everything. Then this lady said that, you have been just completing 8 months, and we want someone very stable. I said, I'm very stable. Look at my CV. I have always worked in hotel, and my domain was revenue management. I have never tried to venture out in F&B to any other place. No sales, nothing. So इससे ज़्यादा आपको अच्छा क्या मिलेगा? She said, no, Prashant. We need, at least you should have completed 1 year. And I said, you can hold the vacancy for 3-4 months. I think the criteria for this interview was you will ask me a technical, knowledgeable question and I will answer. And I've answered it all. Do you have any more questions? She said, no. And then probably, I think, उन्हें बहुत rude लगा होगा. And I knew for sure कि मुझे ताज में अब नौकरी नहीं मिली. And the second thing is that I left Redison in 10-11 months of time and joined Hired. Because I was hungry for more growth. And I remember this, जब मैं छोटा था कि बेटा fail मत होना. So school, like if you're a kid in first class, you will get 1 year to clear that class. And if you're in 12th, you still get 1 year to clear that class.
And that is, honestly, Prashant, matlab, I'm a mother now. I'm a mother to a 17-year-old and a 15-year-old. My only thing with them is that my daughter's early for her this thing, and she said, take a gap year. Matlab, my parents would have died only. Matlab, ki agar gap year kya hota, they would have never known. But I'm so excited to say, of course, take a gap year. But hamara, I think conditioning as children also saying, next, first, KG, first, second, third, fourth, fail ho gaye, to matlab life hi collapse ho gayi.
Correct.
Kyun was? I mean, and at one point in time, and my son, when we moved to Bangalore and then COVID hit, he's not a very online child. He really struggled at one point in time. But I wasn't, and as a mother, I became a helicopter mother too. And then I woke up and said, boss, this is what I went through. मैं बेचारे का मतलब, I'm just absolutely making his life miserable right now in what it is. So, then I said, back off. Said, we were not, I was supremely street smart, supremely intelligent, but academically above average. I wasn't like exceptional academically and all. I passed from a very good college. I did economics honors. But I said, boss, if I made something out of my life where I'm currently happy, and happy is also relative, ये तो very लेगा यार. ये तो generation very smart है. They are upgraded software ना. तुम हमसे upgraded software हो. तुमसे upgraded software next generation. I love this girl Malvika. She was brilliant. I didn't even know who it is. She chased me down, and I'm not a very, imagine मैं Bangalore की बारिश में आज इधर बैठी हुई हूँ. It's, but I think it's just, and this is a generation which will, I'm hoping, change the world, in the way that it is.
Yeah, because they have all the information. So
they also don't have to work na for bread and butter.
Yeah.
उनको सब मिला हुआ है ना कि भैया ये बेस सेटल है अब तुम कर लो जो तुम.
So this was told to me by my father that the earlier generation used to work for roti kapda and makan, that has been taken care by your grandfather.
Yes.
And then came in the lifestyle that has been taken care by your father. And now it is a social age where you need gratification, you need
Maslow's hierarchy need ना. हाँ. तो मैं भी वो self actualization पे धीरे धीरे आ रही हूँ on that 7 this thing and everything. But I keep telling my parents, थोड़ा और काम कर लेते तो मैं बिल्कुल भी काम ना कर रही होती.
Yeah, but I think this industry, so when I look at IT and I look at hospitality, I think there a 27-year-old will grow faster. I know वहाँ पे पढ़ाई ज़्यादा है, वहाँ पे दिमाग ज़्यादा है. But I think hotels are making good money.
Yeah, it's not good money. I'll tell you, hotel में आपको बंदा बना देते हैं. I mean, in the way that... Yeah. I have realized you can have all the technical skills, you can have, you can be a brilliant programmer, everything AI, machine learning, but still, I can tell you, Bangalore today struggles with conversations, struggles with soft skills, the most intelligent city.
Yeah.
But when it comes to presenting what you have, no, that Delhi beats them, by the way.
Yeah.
So,
but I think hotel में काम करने से you become something in terms of personality, in terms of ability to talk. वहाँ से सबसे अच्छा प्रोडक्ट निकलना चाहिए और हम उस प्रोडक्ट को उस इन्वायरमेंट की वजह से ख़राब करते हैं. आई एम ऑल्सो नो टेलियर बट आई वॉज नॉट बॉर्न एंड मतलब मेरी पढ़ाई नहीं हुई थी. आई एम नॉट एन IHM ग्रेजुएट. आई वेंट टू IHM कॉलेज टू गिव द लेक्चर. the first question that I asked to everyone sitting in the college, I said, how many of you want to become entrepreneur in hospitality? And they have no idea. There were 4 people raised their hand. Now, rest of the 80 were looking at what are they going to do in this stream. And there is so many business that you can make in hospitality, I'm telling you. It is not fluke. It is not the time that you say that hospitality doesn't have the money. We are now about to be 8% GDP contributor to India. And this industry is already $1 trillion, and India is going to be like $5 trillion, $6 trillion in next 10 years. And I was very amazed to look at. मैं अपनी गाड़ी लेने के बाद I went for accessory shop, and I was asking how much money you. So when you become entrepreneur, there's everywhere that you look at business. How much money you make? He makes lakhs of rupees every month. And does he make a car? No. So he is nowhere attached to the automobile industry where he's directly impacting that industry, taking money out from them. No. But just because he's an ancillary business with this industry attached. So I remember this asking to one of my friend who is GM. I said, आपका सब्जी वाला vendor कितने साल से? He said 5 years. And I said, you are the alone one? सारे होटल उससे लेते हैं. I said, why there is no competition? एक wholesaler वाला पूरे दिन बैठता है and ये आदमी vendor आपके 2 घंटे में अच्छे पैसे बना के चला जाता है. It takes only 2 hours, morning delivery, and you're sorted. So there is so much of business in hospitality. We need to tell people, we need to tell the students who are in this industry that there is huge amount of scope. हर कोई आता है FMCG, IT में entrepreneurship करना चाहता है. Why not hospitality?
नहीं आ रहे हैं. I think there are a lot of people are now taking the punt. I mean, you've heard of only the bigger names and all. But hospitality and F&B, a lot of people are taking the punt right now. But they are more about sort of owning a business and stuff, not as ancillaries to the business and everything. But I think it is changing. It is slow, but also, while the glamour may seem also okay, but now it's a known fact. Okay? It's a very strenuous industry. No? We all want to make quick buck.
Yeah.
But I just met somebody today. I was speaking to somebody today, and the guy was telling me this software guy with 1 year of experience. And he jumped 6 months into another software company from 6 lakhs to 18 lakhs. That was his salary, 1 साल का experience out of college.
Yeah.
मतलब यहाँ पे तो आप so when you look at the comparative, we just sort of and that's the reason. But having said that, I think things are changing, and it's an exciting time to watch and see what happens. But you've got to be smart. You've got to be smart to ride the wave.
I have audited 1,300 hotels, and a lot of owners have their primary business somewhere, and their hotels are the secondary business where they have the money and they wanted to build something where they call them ego satisfaction, build a hotel. And then you don't get good employees because you are a smaller hotel group. I have seen someone coming from an electronic background, created a brand, and I was looking at this. This was one of the hotel company which is very new. They started as Kiko Stays, and this guy never thought that he will become famous. One of his reel got almost 42 million views, 2.3 million likes, and he started getting a lot of bookings. Now, the bigger problem that he's facing is he cannot set up the department because no one from hospitality will come out and join.
Which is why the brands are today flourishing now. Yeah. मतलब अगर आप खुद बैठ के, if you can sit there and run it yourself, that's fine, do everything yourself.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's always better to, get a brand to run it for you because you run it professionally. Unless, like I said, you're so passionate about Airbnb or kuch, and a lot of people are passionate about it. Okay, then you deal with the perils of what comes with it too. But that is why today you see kitne brands sprout kar rahe in the management space, in the leasing space.
But I still feel like people like you have worked with few startup hotel company. Now also, I will not say Postcard is now established brand, still growing.
It's a young company.
Yeah. I think we need more people like you who can come out and be a difference, because Kiko Stay की मैं जो बात कर रहा हूँ, he is not able to get right people in place. So थोड़े दिन तक चलेगा जब तक वो खुद कर सकता है. But he'll not be able to flourish the brand very.
इतने लोग हैं. I can tell you. I mean, it's not only me. There are a lot of people who leave the industry because of the hours. A lot of women particularly leave the industry because of the hours, the fact that they want some sort of a balance and everything. It is just about looking for them, and we don't. बड़े ब्रांड्स को जरूरत नहीं होती. There are enough takers. कोई नौकरी छोड़ेगा तो 72 की लाइन लगी होती है उनके पीछे. नहीं करे. Smaller brands have just to be a little innovative and look for people who want to get back to the industry but just don't know how to. So वो ढूंढने होता है, आपको बहुत मिल जाएंगे.
I'll tell you, there's a post that I wanted a director revenue for myself. I said, your current salary and give you 20% raise. I'll give you a car and I'll give you a MacBook. And that's the time I'm getting from a few CVs. But do you think that I'm getting a CV from a director revenue of Marriott?
क्यों आएगा आपके पास? But no, also मैंने तो choose किया ना, मेरे को तो बड़े brand में ही रहना है. Those are people who make the choices to say I wish to be.
Just because education is less.
Or also the fact that I like the big brands ka perks na. Why would I not want Marriott ka tappa? I want my, like I said, all my benefits that come with the big brand, and that's fine.
But there is a lot of misery that they are going through. So I'll talk about my domain. If you are a revenue manager, you are in a hotel, there will be a lot of people who will not understand you because stat
He's to hate revenue manager.
Yeah, so there is stat, there is number, there is a lot of hotel GM who will not understand this, but they will still be there because that's Marriott, that's Hyatt, that's Oberoi for them, and even they know for sure that there is one level where I can reach, and after this there's so much of fight, struggle that you have to do.
But वो हर एक industry में, let me tell you कि जब से आप ऊपर जाओगे वो हर एक industry में.
Yep.
I mean, you've got to, and I'm just saying that I also used to have these very angsty questions to say कि यार boss, how is it that people just think linear, they don't think idhar udhar and everything. It works for them. It works for them. There is sometimes majburi that I need stability. There is sometimes that I'm just a little lazy. I want to be and keep growing because वो आर्मी की तरह है ना, promotion तो हो ही जाएगी कभी ना कभी, unless you choose not to. I mean, I had a colleague and I used to laugh at him at one point in time, and he joined as a sales executive and he retired as a sales manager. And I said, क्या तुमको grow नहीं करना? उसे क्यों? Because I'm very happy. Why would I want more headache? I think 3 years later, after I left that place, called him and said, boss, I mean, I loved you for the fact that you were so clear कि मेरे को headache ही नहीं चाहिए. I want to be with a big brand and I don't want to take the headache of being a leader in the leadership role and all. हर एक को जरूरी नहीं ambitious होना. हर एक का aspirations different होता है. So I think there's a lot of learning and maturity that you sort of get over the years to say to each their own. And I think that's just it. So then, at least for me now, I don't question that anymore. I think I have a lot of love, respect, everything for people who followed the straight-jacketed. I have more respect for people who've taken their chances in life and said, I resonate more with you, because you took your chances in life rather than whatever.
So do you fix a number of age that till this age one should work, or is it the willpower and your motivation level that drives?
Yeah, I know of I'll tell you, my father, he's retired. He retired from Indian Airlines, now Air India. So aeronautical engineer. And his pet project is that he wants to take every paper and go to the bank. And he doesn't want to take the car. He wants to take the metro. And he's 82 years old. And I tell him, Dad, aap driver hai, gaadi hai. No, I have the metro pass. Then he wants to go from anywhere in a DTC bus. And I tell him, Daddy, what? So I used to fight a lot with him saying, are you mad? Like, you've got all the comforts. But I realized unko अच्छा लगता है ये करना.
You want to check his potential.
Yeah, unka time pass hai. And I said, ठीक है. So till the time you are enjoying it, do it. When you are saying my enjoyment is just, in the same spirit, my dad-in-law says, I've done my bit. And he's from the forces. I don't want to. I need a good life. I think that's brilliant too. So I just feel, जब तक मन कर रहा है, जब तक करना है करो, नहीं करना तो put your hang your boots in this thing. I knew I can't do it, yaar. I mean, 3 years I drove everybody mad and I went mad myself. So I knew I wanted to work. I still want to work. I may want to not work in the next 5 years, but in the space that I am, and I enjoy working. I love working, and more importantly, I love traveling. In what I do, I've done 16 cities in about a year or so, and everything. I think it's brilliant. Every travel gives me a perspective.
Yeah.
But who knows? 2 saal baad I'll say, boss, I can't do it. I mean, I'm just saying that you don't know. But I really feel it's so personalized too. And there can't be a generic answer. But I think jab tak tumko maza aa raha hai, karo. Nahi maza aa raha, chhod do yaar. It's okay.
So do you also look at, so while you were working with these startups, do you also look at that, nahi, ye galti ho rahi hai? There is a mistake that is. So what do you think about Postcard Hotel? Is there any mistake right now that
every day we learn, yeah? Every day. I mean, in the way that, and startup, I mean, you run a startup too in some sense. You're just sort of going over everything that you need to revisit, relook, everything.
No, I think there is a problem in understanding on this, that as a founder, when you go in, there is a lot of things that you come up with as a vision that you have to drive, but आपको नहीं दिखता है कई बार गलतियाँ, and then there are people around you who knows what is going wrong.
Yeah.
And they sort of come and tell you. But there are two kind of people. One who understand, okay, fine, I might have missed, and then other are like, okay, I want to learn and fix it. So have you seen founders doing mistakes while baking up these brands? So be it Treehouse or be it Postcard or any other.
All of them, yeah. But some of them we want to be told in a certain way. Some of them are okay to just be upfront, but they will listen to you. But also I've realized one thing, from where an employee or somebody who's not at the at the helm of affairs looks at things vis-a-vis what a founder will see. मेरे को गलत लग रहा होगा, but there is another thing which I'm not seeing at all, which only this guy is seeing, right?
Correct.
So I may sort of, run a crusade to say what is it, and I've done this, not with Mr. Chopra, he'll kill me, but I've done this with my, other places that I've worked. But in hindsight, at Treehouse, and there was a gentleman who was a very dear friend, and I was working with him, and we'd constantly fight. But then when I got out, I said, oh my God, I was wrong here. I should have seen, because he was looking at it from this point of view. And I was only saying, but. It's like, तुम्हारे पास revenue manager हो ना तुम, तो वो बंदा बोल मेरा room ले लो please, because मेरा room इतने पे आ रहा है.
Correct.
No, but you're looking at a whole picture saying, boss, I've got 2 more rooms at a much better rate. I don't want to take your room. But that sales guy will keep fighting. So that's the whole thing, So
working with a brand to working with a founder. So a lot of founders I've seen, they come with a lot of experience. बहुत साल job की होती है, and then they come out and start their thing. And a lot of people misjudge them, because जैसे मैंने काम करना शुरू किया, so a lot of people who came and joined, they will see me as a struggling man. I am.
Yeah.
But they don't know the story behind it. That's at one point of time, I was sitting in a nice AC cabin, and there was 200 people calling me sir, boss. And now I am with 5 people starting my own startup and struggling, and then they will judge you with the current scenario. But people around you, at the sort of you start growing in, तब उनको realize होता, no, there was a lot of learning that I could have taken. So one example I'll give you. So someone came in and said, Prashant, ये गलत है, ये गलत है, ये गलत है. I said, yeah, I think I'm very interested.
ज्ञान देने में सब बहुत smart.
Yeah, I think I was sitting there and said, tell me more mistake. And I want to find out which of them I don't know. And I'm collecting all of these problems that I know. And he said, why are you not solving? I said, there is a time to solve.
Exactly. Effort to reward ratio.
It's basically, when you see a problem, you instant respond is, let's solve it. But you don't know that when you go out and solve a problem, you might create 2 more.
But exactly what I'm saying, as a founder, you will know this.
Yeah.
I will know one part of my job and I'll keep harping to say, isko ठीक करो, isko. But boss, उसके साथ 4 चीजें on है, which you don't know because you're only handling one part of it. So I think one of the things that I've realized as a founder, it's a very lonely journey. मतलब frankly, मैंने try किया था entrepreneurship, not because I wanted to be an
coming to
entrepreneur.
that question.
No, not that I wanted to be. It just fell in my lap to say, अरे तू कर ले ये. मैंने बोला अच्छा ठीक है ये भी कर लेते हैं. So I made my own website. I went on to Wix and I made my own website and I did social media marketing, blah, blah. 1, I hated it because it was very alone. And 2, I said, boss, I can't do this कि मुझे इतना पैसा दे दो because, I think I am and I don't want to discuss. I can't deal with it. I can do it for a brand. But, for me, it was like, to hell with you, yeah, I don't want to work with you. And that's not how companies are built. So I was very clear, मुझे entrepreneur नहीं बनना, boss. It is a very lonely journey. So you need to surround yourself with a couple of faithful, your people, so to say, and they are the ones who will sort of, I think, hold the torch for you and also tell you where you're wrong. And I think if you have that, then the journey becomes much easier. Otherwise, entrepreneurship is not for the weak-hearted at all.
You have put it in a very right way. Someone who coming from a background where you have worked with a founder and startup and you have learned a lot of things, and you're still saying that I don't want to be an entrepreneur.
I don't want to be.
It's a painful journey.
अरे यार इतना miserable है, मतलब सब. It's not that they will. Some people show it, some people don't. But you know what they're going through, right? I mean, everything is to be, and like you said, you were in a fancy position. Everything was looked after. तो अभी यार वो, if in your office वो पानी नहीं आ रहा है, ये printer खराब हो गया है. When you're starting off, I don't want to do this. It's fine. And that's why when you said, why do people stay with companies? It's for the same reason. It's easy.
I think it was very nice and elaborative conversation that we had.
Thank you. I
And
enjoyed talking.
one last question I want
Please.
to ask. Anyone who is in sales in Taj Oberoi right now, in Leela, any other brand, if they have to come out of a comfort zone and do something exciting, what is one thing that they should carry within themselves to break that shell and start looking for other things that can bring meaning to their life?
And let me put this question. Why? Why would anybody want to leave them? If they've been there and they are okay, unless you are really sort of triggered by where you are to say either, you say that I have so much brains, I want to, I want to do and I want to take that punt. And I think Zarur Zindagi mein ek baar, if you feel you are intelligent enough, you should take the punt. Take it, take a calculated risk, do that, take it. But if you don't want to take it, even though you're intelligent, that is fine too. It is absolutely fine. But depends on what you want out of life. So I'm really at that stage where I'm almost zen-like saying, तुम्हारे लिए चलता है, तुम करो. My thing was, let's try something new. I love working. I enjoy working. So I'm working. It's not that I need to work for anything right now. I stayed at home for 3 years. I could have stayed on and everything. So I'm saying that if you truly want to, if you truly feel कि मेरे को कुछ सीखना है and I want to sort of walk the hard road to learn because, then निकलो. Otherwise क्या है, अच्छी वर्ष नौकरी है यार. Stay in the नौकरी. What's the problem?
So I think hospitality में एक चीज़ जो मैंने feel करी थी because of which I've started the podcast is that people don't connect here. And it's a problem that I've seen. So I came from non-hospitality background. So मेरे पास 300 लोगों का college नहीं था जहाँ पे मैं बाहर निकलता and I have already 300 people in the industry and they know me. So I have to walk through my way and there was no one to tell me that do this, do that, this will be beneficial for you. Either you can reach up to your general manager and he will tell you at his best ability, or there's difficulty to reaching out for a mentor in this hospitality.
But Delhi, किस industry में you think that you look up to and say कि easy है?
Any other industry that we are looking at, like of IT, like of FMCG, like of all the other industry, because there is a lot of people and content which is available for you. So if I talk about FMCG, I was working with one of the company called as Colgate Palmolive. And I was looking at how to sell because मैं पहले banking sell किया and this is not in my CV. It was initial at 19, 20 years of my age. I wanted to try something. So I was in banking to sell a credit card and I was not able. But then I went to a telecom company. I worked with Idea Cellular. And I didn't know how to sell telecom. Then I think sort of Reliance people, everyone. So there's a community of sales people. They sit down together and they talk. आज आप लेमन ट्री से हो, मैं ताज से हूँ. I will not prefer to talk.
ऐसा नहीं है यार. I mean, I think it's about, human beings are same at the same level. It's just, हाँ, एक structured शायद नहीं, but there are many forums too. But they are mostly for the very senior sort of people. At the junior level, it's about, मतलब मैं, not now. I mean, now, of course, people will connect with me and everything. Again, वो, your card ka sort of, what they say, औकात. But even when I was, when I was in my younger days, if I wanted to connect with somebody, you could pick up the phone and LinkedIn gives you that platform. But yes, there is no structured platform today to say, हाँ चलो अब महीने का we will meet at the very junior level. But honestly, informally, there are a lot of things which are going on and people talk to each other and they help each other. In fact, I find hospitality a much more kinder industry than anything else.
It is, but I think it is more of, I have started realizing it is more of a fake now. Like you said, it was out of syllabus. I had a terrible day. So you're feeding in something that, so I went to IHM and someone came and greeted me. How are you, Mr. Person? And I instantly felt this is fake. You are not very happy to look at me. Now you're looking at my tattoo, you're looking at my beard. I'm not dressed like everyone around me because everyone is wearing this suit. Even the students, they have this collar, scarf and everything. And I'm someone like alien to them. And then you still have to smile. And I said, no, I am not very happy. I said, listen, I just need a tea. Give me something for my throat and I'll be okay to go out and give the lecture. And I have realized this, that if it is done passionately, you say that hospitality is all about passion and the willfulness to...
Not for everybody. नहीं.
Not for everybody.
कोई भी नहीं होती नहीं है. I mean, I'm just saying, tell me one industry जहाँ पे सारे passionate लोग हैं यार.
I'm looking at you right now.
I am, but...
I myself is there.
But I'm saying कि किस industry में सारे passionate लोग चला रहे हैं.
Yeah.
पैसे के लिए काम कर रहे हैं. I mean,
but
that's really...
I think the point is that we are feeding the soft skill wrong.
हाँ, that's
और
true.
किसी इंडस्ट्री में नहीं सिखाते हैं ये.
हाँ,
हम ही सिखाते हैं उन्हें बच्चों को. the first thing is that you have to smile, you have to be always like this. Why? When you can't do it from inside.
Because yeah, you would want a grumpy person saying, "Aa gaye, fir se, jao apne kamre mein."
This guy is not for hospitality. Don't fill it with the wrong people.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the problem.
But well, and that's what I'm saying. There's always a balance between business. अब वो hotel management colleges भी तो चला है ना.
Yeah, of course.
तो अभी अब क्या करेंगे बेचारे जिनके percentage नहीं आए? In some sense, So I think that is it. Then you decide either you fall in love with it or you hate it.
Yeah.
A lot of people. I was a graduate management trainee, and we were a bunch of 20, out of which only 8 survived. 12 लोग निकल गए.
Exactly. And
6 महीने में they were out.
उन्होंने अच्छा किया. They might be doing good in their life because they realize this is not for me.
Yeah. So I think it's okay. I mean, like I said, I would be very angsty at one point in time, and I'd be very judgmental to say, boss, when these 3 years that I was really struggling, and I can tell you, I approached some brands, and then they said, boss, and I was clear that I want a Bangalore-based sort of a thing. Many sari positions are mostly Delhi, Mumbai. And she said, but today the DOSMs and all are 35 years old. Even if I want you and these are senior people, they will not hire you because they'll be always threatened. So वो insecurity बहुत है हमारी, हमारी industry में, maybe सारी industry में होगी. I don't know what it is. But I mean, I just felt very sort of saying that you are not hiring me because I'm probably going to sort of outshine you, or you think I'm more qualified than you, but I'm very happy to work with you, right? To just collaborate and work together and stuff. But then I said, yeah, that's how it works.
So we'll end this with one message that you want to give to youngsters who want to come in this hospitality as industry, be in aviation or anything.
Yeah. No, so I think if there is one industry which can teach you and make a man/woman out of you in the way that, see, AI will take over a lot of things, and I was, discussing with Athar, but it can't take away your human connection. This is the only industry which allows you to do it. I hate talking to bots even now. Even though bot can answer all my questions, I want that
Human interaction.
I want that, and I'm sure baby boomers will also want that human. आप वो निकाल नहीं सकते हो. This is the only industry in service industries which teaches you that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we as human beings are meant to be social, and that this is a great platform if you enjoy doing, that. Industry still started paying well now. पहले तो बिल्कुल भी नहीं था, but it's rigorous. It's rigorous. So you really got to be in it and want to sort of do it. Either you love it or you hate it. If you hate it, then get out of it. So that's it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Lovely to talk to you, Prashant. Thank you so much.
You are watching biggest hospitality podcast by a hotelier. Stay tuned. Follow us for more.